Parasha meditation, Parashat Balak. Transforming curses into blessings. I remember when I was a little girl growing up in Denmark, we sang this song that's actually in this week's Parasha. Ma tovu alecha Yaakov mishkenotecha Yisrael. We could sing it in 3 different voices. We were 3 sisters, and it's like a round. Each one starts at a different point, and we used to do it. We used to sing that when we sat in the back seat driving to our vacation home. And so these are the words that the wicked sorcerer Balaam, who desired to obliterate Israel with his curses, Hashem transformed his evil eye into goodness. And he turned Balaam's curse into a 6-worded blessing. This 6-worded blessing, Matovu ohalecha Yaakov mishkenetecha Yisrael. Also, the ancient Magen David, the symbol that I often use in spiritual healing, it has 6 points. And this is a really important symbol to help protect us from negative energy, from Ein Hara, evil eye, or even worse, curse. I've designed the Magen David meditation that we're going to do shortly to help us sending positive light to ourselves and others. Because we have the divine power to train our eye to see only goodness in others and also in ourselves. And that with that power, we can turn curses into blessing. So it's important to practice seeing our own light rather than being too perfectionistic and beating ourselves up for not living up to our unrealistic high expectations that we have of ourselves. Like we're not this enough, we're not that enough. Instead of sending us this negative energy, sending that to ourselves, we need to bless ourselves. We need to bless ourselves so we can bless other people. Even if we may feel terrible about having responded judgmentally to a certain person without learning from prior experiences, let us ask ourselves, was my action really that bad that I need to feel terrible for the rest of the day? And replay the conversation over and over in my head. What about transforming that self-inflicted curse into a simple blessing? Let us send ourselves transformative lights of blessing. We can, for example, bless ourselves as follows. May I be empowered to cultivate more mindful speech. May I be blessed with the patience to really hear and accept others. So in Parasha's Balak, it's the senates of the summer. We're already in the month of Tammuz, which is the season for rectification of our eyes. Now it's really time to rectify and guard our eyes and to see only the good in the world and in other people. And how can we do that? By noticing that the numerical value of the Hebrew word ayin, I, is 130. And the small gematria of that, taking, taking 1 plus 3 plus 0, you get 13. That's how you make a small gematria. And 13 is a very interesting number. In other cultures, 13 is like an unlucky number. But that's because they don't understand the truth of the oneness of God. Because really in Hebrew, the word echad, which means 1, and also the word ahava, which means love, share the numerical value of 13. So the 13 number is actually the Jewish lucky number, because it's like we have 12 tribes who are all unified in a common father, Yaakov, Yisrael, that makes together 13. But other religions, they make the oneness of God into multiplicity, like Trinity, etc. And that's why they cannot relate to the holiness of the number 13. So Parashat Balak exemplifies the difference between the Gentile and the Jewish relationship with our eyes. Balaam lifted his eyes and saw Israel dwelling according to the tribes. Rashi explains that he wished to cast an evil eye upon them. So basically, what is casting an evil eye upon other people? It's basically cutting off the spiritual channel to the oneness of God, the source of that blessing. It's interesting to notice that the root of ayin, I, which is the focal point of the Parsha, appears exactly 13 times in Parshat Balak. The attempt to apply witchcraft and curse on the Jewish people by separating our individual diversities from Hashem's oneness backfired and turned into the 13 attributes of mercy, unifying Hashem, the source of all blessings. So basically, when someone wants to curse someone else, they want to separate that person from Hashem, which is the source of the blessing. And that's what Bilam wanted to do. And the word klala, which means curse, comes from the root kalal, which is connected to the word kal, which means light, taking someone lightly and disrespecting them. But the word that's used in Parshat Balak for curse is ara. It has the same letters as O, which is light, but it's missing the vav. And vav also means and, because it has the ability to connect. Vav is the connected letter, and also it's called the letter of truth, because truth is connecting all the strings and seeing the whole picture. And that's why, so that is why when Bilam wanted to curse, he wants to take out the connection, our connection with the truth and with oneness. And that is how that's the difference between the word curse, ara, and the words all, light. So that is very interesting. Anyway, what are our protection? This is what we say. This is what Bilam actually ended up saying inadvertently. Hashem turned his words into blessing. And he said, how goodly are your tents, Yaakov. The Midrash says, these are your prayer houses, your dwelling places, Israel. These are your study halls. So basically, that's Torah and Tefillah. That's Israel. It's Israel's eternal protection. So let us start now with doing the meditation, so that we can learn to send positive energy from our eyes. And when we send positive energy, we will not be susceptible to receive negative energy. The more we send love, compassion, and light from our eyes, the less we're susceptible to receive negative energy. So you can now just relax a little bit and take a deep breath and sit yourself straight in your chair and focus your gaze. Practice focusing your gaze on one point and see how long you can hold that gaze. This is this part of the meditation you can actually use whenever you're waiting for something. Focus on one point. Shift your gaze from the one point to the whole of which the point is part, and then back to the one point. Repeat this several times. Now draw a blue Magen David on a white surface and look at it for at least 2 minutes. So we can't do that right now, but imagine you have a blue Magen David, and the truth is I can give you one. Meanwhile, you could practice until I get it a little bit more, focusing on a point and then on the whole that the point was part of. I'm going to try to sorry. Sorry, that didn't really work. Hold on, I'm gonna get it for you. So keep practicing. Okay, here we go. Okay, I'm ready to share it with you. There we go. Share. Here. So now you see the beautiful Magen David. Maybe I'll make it a little bit smaller so that you can see all the points. It's not being smaller. Let's see. Okay, this is good. Okay, now look really careful on this Magen David. And then shift your gaze. Now, close your eyes and visualize the Magen David. Try to hold the vision for as long as possible. Okay, so you saw that Magen David. And now, look or envision a person, look at or envision a person in your life that you love very, very, very much. It could be a spouse, a child, a sibling, a parent, or a close friend. Tune into the person's face and look for the glow of Hashem's light in that face. Imagine expanding this glow of light. If you can't find your loved one's glow, or he or she is not well, practice sending rays of light to that person through your eyes. Look for where your loved one is in need of light and focus your light on that particular place. When meditating alone, visualize people in your life that you love and imagine expanding that glow of light or sending them light to wherever they need it. Visualize how the person you love is gradually becoming more filled with light, life, health, and happiness. So you can repeat this exercise as much as possible until it becomes second nature for you to send light whenever you're communicating with others. So in other words, you look at the Magen David, you hold that vision for as long as possible. Then you take a loved person and imagine expanding that glow of light or sending them light. And then you can actually imagine them inside of that Magen David. And that makes it really special. Okay, so curses, whether in the form of beating ourselves, berating ourselves, or hoping that something bad might happen to someone we don't like, are ultimately destructive and limit our spiritual and emotional development. We could take the leap of choice from unconscious curse to conscious blessing. So this is how we bless people, sending them light, expanding their glow, and like we could put them into imaginary Magen David. Through blessing, we can move on in life, increasing our mindfulness, gentle self-evaluation, and forgiveness. How would our moment-to-moment life experience change if curses were not an option and if God only allowed us to bless ourselves and others, to offer ourselves and the people in our life mindful hope for mindful change? So that's it for now.